This is my 90-day update of becoming an inspiring author, and I am super happy to share I am done my first draft. It is completed. It's not only completed, it is printed and bound. This is my first draft. I will not be touching it. I understand why I will not be touching this for a few weeks. I'm going to take a break and look at it with a fresh mind in September. I did not realize how hard it would be to leave the characters that I just spent the last 90 days totally immersed in their world. I'm in love with them, especially my main male character, but it is best for the story to step away for a few weeks, and I will do a read through, but it's a physical book right now. But I'll touch that in September when I do a read through and start my second edit. I talked about before doing a novel writing workbook or blueprint for myself to make it easier for editing and read through and notes, to make sure characters' names are right, locations are right, all of that. I created it and it's already printed and bound. So it has just simple like line sheets, like just to go through my story foundation. Essentially, I'm going to put my outline that I have on my computer. I'll have my outline and my plans actually written in my book that I can actually reference while writing, all my secondary characters and what they look like, what they're bringing to the story, so that I'm pretty sure I have mixed up a few people's names, a few people's looks. So that is definitely going to be used, as well as all the plot, making sure the plot holes are filled with my plan. And honestly, what I mainly wanted this for is my chapter planning. So you see, it has my purpose, my key characters, the setting, location, time, POV if that's an aspect for it, and then it has notes that if I see something that has to be fixed, any kind of notes to that chapter, I will write the chapter in here. I'll be able to reference it, and when I go to do edits, I'll have my notes for that chapter. Super exciting. One thing with my chapters, I am changing my format of chapters. I plotted my book out for 40 chapters, and I wrote 40 chapters, but I don't like the length of some of the chapters. And one thing I like when reading books, actually, S.J. Tilley is one of my favorite author references for this. She only does 1 or 2 scenes per chapter. And I absolutely love it. It's one thing I'm like, it's probably one of the things I loved first, because you just flip through a chapter and it's super quick. So I will be creating like single to 2 scenes per chapter. So I'll probably, instead of 40 chapters, will be upwards of probably 70, which I'm much happier. And it's so more exciting to get through a chapter that much faster. So that's one big update. Last month I ordered, so I believe just over a month ago, I set up my ISBN account. In Canada, it is free for ISBNs, but you have to set up an account for it to apply for them. So I applied for my account. It is a 2-month backtrack right now before they review accounts. So I'm hoping I will get an answer sometime in September. But from what I'm hearing from people, it's going to be probably more like October, maybe November. So I'm really happy I was proactive and got on that now, so that I can release my book whenever I want, because I will have the ISBNs, and I will not be stuck to one book creator, book printing company. I'll own my ISBNs to attach to my book. So that's one thing. Big thing, now that I have a book, right now it's a horrible book, with plot holes and a lot of dialogue, not much sensory, but it's still a book. So it's early enough. I changed my socials. So my socials have been, since from day one, were K Hope Writes on all social media platforms. I changed it. All my social media platforms are now author K Hope. and they will be going forward. That will match the domain I purchased, which was Author K Hope. So that's where you can find me on everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere is Author K Hope. And then my website, once it's launched, is going to be Author K Hope. And with that, the website, I was going to try to push back building a website just for the cost. Because again, I'm doing this trying to be frugal. I was going to use Substack for newsletters and ARC signups, anything like that. I'm not liking it. So I instead purchased a site builder. I am currently designing my website. So that's coming out soon. That'll be where I am going to shift my newsletters to, that you can sign up for. If I were to need beta readers, that'll be where they'll sign up. ARC readers 100% will sign up. I will have books when they're out to be purchased there. All of the ins and outs. I will have an author website for sure, Author K Hope, to match my socials. So that's super exciting. And before I get into financials, I'll go over my socials that we were just talking about, because that is the main driving force of finding my readers and hopefully getting sales. So I went from, hold on, I have to add these up. Okay, I added them up. So on Facebook, 30 days ago, I had 26 followers. I now have 41, which increased by 15. On Instagram, 30 days ago, I had 210. I now have 320, which is an increase of 110 followers. On Threads, I had 133, and now I have 159, which is an increase of 26. And on TikTok, I had 1,245, and I now have 1,557 for an increase of 312 followers. Not super huge jumps comparative for the 60 days before that, but you know what? I have not really been on social media because I hammered down between work, my boys, funeral planning, and just working on my book. I haven't been updating my socials. So I'm pretty happy with those increases. And now in the next little bit, I just get to talk about my book because it is coming. And for those that want to know financials, because I am doing this as cheap as possible, I ended the first 60 days, I had spent $325 total, which included purchasing a domain name, notebooks and pencils. I bought a tablet from my husband's work that is specifically for writing, as well as, super exciting, I paid for character art. So I have character art for my book. And then the last 30 days, I did spend a bit. The last 30 days, I bought a binding machine. So that is this thing here. And that's what I use to bind my own books, or my own booklets. So super happy with that. It was only $30 off Facebook Marketplace. Next, I bought books for self-learning and personal development, Story Genius, The Elements of Style, and The Emotion Thesaurus, because I have a lot of ways. But when you are writing an 90,000 page or 90,000 word book, you end up recycling a lot of words. So this is going to hopefully expand my vocabulary. And that was $70. And then my website, even on sale, it was $135, and I still have to build it myself. But that is a total of the last 30 days is $235. So total so far in the last 90 days, I've spent $560. So it's not bad. Still keeping it frugal, but there always is going to be expenses, even for an indie, or especially for an indie writer, doing it as cheap as possible. But yeah, that is my 90-day update. Huge, huge update. Great things happening. And I can't wait to update you in another 30 days.